Hello again everyone, how's it going? So today I'll be doing a much awaited Astral Yui guide. I know I actually took quite some time to do this. I have a whole bunch of videos I actually need to do, so sorry about that. But surely I'll get to them eventually. I'm planning on making a video like every day, but well, don't quote me on that because I honestly I could just keep procrastinating and not actually do anything, but you know, in any case, let's talk about Yui over here now, shall we? She's actually quite a simple character to understand, so this might be somewhat of a shorter guide in general. But basically, she's a very comparable unit with Princess Kyaru, because they kinda do the same thing. She's like a Princess Kyaru, but more focused on support. We will go over that right now. So basically, her burst is just a nuke, deals a lot of damage. Not as much damage as Kyaru. Kyaru does deal like 600,000 damage, while Yui only deals 400,000. But Yui, besides actually dealing damage, also buffs everyone's attack and critical rate. Yeah, that's basically it. Of course, the buffs for critical rate and attack also increase to a maximum of 2 times according to everybody's HP, remaining HP. So if they are, the more HP they do have, the more, not damage, sorry, the more the attack buff and the critical rate buff will increase, which is quite nice. So of course we need everyone to be on tip-top shape for this skill to actually be very good. And since it is 2 times the amount, the most amount of attack she can give, it's 8,880, and the most critical rate she can give, it's 200, of course. In any case, moving on to her first skill, is just a self-buff, increasing her own attack and critical damage by 5,000, well, 6,000 basically, and 5%, and also dealing a really high amount of damage. But again, Kyaru does deal more damage, so we can, don't worry, Yui will not out-damage Kyaru like at all. She will get close, kinda, but she will not out-damage Kyaru, so we need to keep that in mind. And also in the first skill, she does get 200 TP to herself. So this is just a basic self-buff skill with some TP recovery. And of course, on her first skill, just like on her burst, she also can, her buffs can also get up to 2 times the amount according to everybody's HP. So a total of like 12, well, almost 12,000 attack and 10% of critical damage, which is pretty good if you ask me. She is actually so strong, like holy shit. Moving on to her second skill, it's more of a support skill. It gives attack to everybody with a barrier, 8,000 attack to everybody with a barrier. If they don't have a barrier, she heals them and gives them a barrier. So as you can see, it is important to make sure everybody has a barrier, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But she'll also increase her own attack by 6,000 basically, and recover again 200 TP. So as you guys can see, she recovers a lot of TP because of her first and second skill, making it so she actually bursts quite a bit often. It's really nice. And since she does burst quite a bit often, she will buff everyone quite a bit often. She's a very good support, to be honest. Very nice support and sub DPS. Yeah, she's basically a support in the sub DPS, you know, and with some healing. She's amazing. She deals damage, gives barriers, buffs everyone. Yeah, that's it. Just 3 things. 3 things. Attacks, buffing, healing. Oh, and the barrier. Okay, 4 things. There we go. So yeah, that's basically it. And EX skill, it's the same as usual. Just some basic attack buff at the start of the battle at a 5-star. Not a 5-star, but at 3-star actually. Oh, she's already at 3 stars, so never mind. Let's look at her loop now, shall we? Her loop is actually very good. Not busted, broken, ridiculous, but it is very good. It's just attack 2-1, attack 2-1, and then attack 1, which is the bad part. So it's kind of in that regard. But the first half of the loop is very nice. not even first half, it's like 70% of the loop is really good. A very, very good character. She deals a lot of damage, she buffs everyone by a lot, heals everybody, and gives a barrier to everybody. Incredible character. Now let's talk about a little bit for synergies. Since she does actually need everybody to be with a barrier, or else she's not gonna buff anyone. She's kind of like Amos in that regard, because Amos also has a skill that works the same. She only buffs characters that have a barrier. We of course need to really make sure everybody has a barrier. So because of that, characters like Amos would work very, very well together with Yui, because Amos does give barriers to everybody, Yui gives barriers to everybody, so that will make sure Yui will buff everybody, because most often than not they will have a barrier, and Amos will also buff everybody, because most often than not they will get a barrier. You know, having two characters that give barriers is very, very good. Really, any character that can give barriers to everybody will work very, very well with Yui. So people like Yukari, for example, or I think New Year Hatsune also gives barriers, physical barriers. Also a very, very good character that will work very well with Yui. So yeah, that's basically it. Make sure, if you have Yui, make sure to actually use someone with a barrier together with her, or else she will quite fall off in efficiency. And another really, really good thing about Yui, since she does so much damage while also being a support, this kinda unlocks, quote-unquote unlocks, some team comps where you don't really need a dedicated DPS like Kiaru, for example. You can kinda just make a team full of supports that deal a lot of damage, because now we do have a lot of them. Like Lyrael, for example, she's a sub DPS pretty much. She doesn't really out-damage anyone, but she herself deals a lot of damage while also buffing everybody. New Year Hatsune also deals a lot of damage, even though she's only a sub DPS also, because she's kind of a support, dealing with physical damage enemies and also giving barriers and whatnot, reducing attack, but she also deals a lot of damage. And some other characters like Ceremonial Ilya, also a good support and sub DPS. Summer Neneka, also very good support and sub DPS. So because of this, and of course Yui buffs everybody, it's really doable to actually make a team, a very, very good team that deals a lot of damage and doesn't actually even use a dedicated, like, carry DPS, carry full DPS, like Princess Kiaru, just like I mentioned before. I'll probably be showing a match on screen against our favorite training boss, showing a team where I don't even use a dedicated DPS, and they actually deal a lot of damage still, which is kind of amazing if you ask me. So yeah, that's basically it for you. She's pretty easy to understand. Just make sure you have someone to help with barriers, and that's kind of it. I guess use someone to give her more speed, attack speed, because that way she buffs even more. I mean, granted, attack speed is very good with anyone, to be honest, so that goes without saying. So yeah, now, should you pull for her? I really think Yui is gonna be very important. So I'm kinda inclined on saying you should actually pull for her, because she's a very, very good character. She's definitely one of the best supports for Magic teams we have right now, which kinda sucks. I kinda wanna say that you should pull for her, because there's gonna be a lot of banners in the future that are also gonna be very important, and I'll make a video about that later on. Probably tomorrow I'll release a video talking about that, surely, hopefully, if I don't procrastinate again. But yeah, I'll hold on my opinion on whether you should pull for her or not for that video, because I actually need to talk about some other stuff about that. But really, kinda you should pull. If you just want to kinda know what I think you kinda should, but it's not a super important unit. But I feel like you still should. You know, I mean, she looks amazing, man. Look at her. She looks amazing. She looks beautiful. Come on, man. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for anyone. And again, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs, so if you haven't subbed just yet, please consider subbing. I would really, really appreciate that. And again, thank you to Lou for the membership, and for upgrading the membership, actually. Thank you a lot for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.